All right, what's up, everybody? It's Keefe, and you're watching another edition of the Weekly Ritual Ghost Cult's news show, streaming on the interwebs, across a bunch of socials, wherever you may be. The best experience to always watch this is on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, but if you're on the other socials, drop a comment. Anybody who gives us a super chat or a donation of any kind, I will gladly answer any and all of your questions about the world of rock and metal. We missed last week right after I promoted how many weeks in a row we did without missing one. I went to the Sick New World Festival, and I got promptly very sick at the end of the weekend. I had an incredible time in Las Vegas. I have many thoughts on the festival. My review is running tomorrow with photos by Kim Hansen, who was there, and it was amazing working with her. It was amazing meeting and interviewing bands. I'll talk a bit about that in a second. Got my Sick New World hat on. And I've been terribly ill, so I'm just starting to feel like myself the last few days. Thanks, everybody, for your patience. Anybody who's waiting on anything from me, I'm appreciative. Once again, thanks for being here. And if you like what you see, tell a friend. The best thing you can do to help us, beside a donation of money, is to share what we do. That's why we do what we do. We bring you the world of rock and metal in a hopefully non-douchey format. That's what we try to do here. Let us know what you think. So, let's go to the deck. And I'll minimize myself. Here is the deck for the week. And I forgot to, they're supposed to upgrade to the Pro StreamYard this week, so I will do it for next week. My bad. I just now realized I have like foggy brain. My hearing is off. And, it's a struggle. I'm on the struggle bus, but I worked all week and I started to do a few band interviews, and now I'm back doing my live stream. So hopefully this is the first steps, the baby steps of feeling good and being better. So yeah, let's do this, Brutus. And hopefully I didn't miss anything crucial. See where we're at. So here's the weekly ritual. This is where we do what we do. Hey, Sick New World. This is a photo taken. I met my long-lost friend from New York, Amanda Saya, incredible person, good friend of mine. This is a much happier me, despite the boiling hot temperatures of Sick New World. But again, we covered the whole shebang-a-bang the whole day. It was everything it was cracked up to be. It was just brutally hot, and a few quibbles that I had with the festival layout. But generally speaking, it was really worth it. I know it was expensive comparatively to some of these other festivals that are a whole weekend. I do believe it's coming back for 2024. And again, look out for my review on the site tomorrow on Friday. And you'll be able to read it all weekend. Serpent Conjuration is here no matter what time of day. What's up, Serpent Conjuration on Instagram? Good to see you. So again, the housekeeping, this is the layout of the show. We make some announcements. We run down our features that we have here at the site this week, different things, interviews, goings on, happenings, things we're affiliated with. Then we bring you the major festivals that are happening. We're covering 2 this weekend, as well as a bunch of stuff that's gotten announced, as well as some new tours that have popped up. Some huge ones got announced today, as well as the major stories of the week, and we'll try to blaze through those a little quicker. Normally, I'm doing this late at night on the West Coast. So technically, again, it is not quite Friday, but basically this is our Friday show on Thursday night. So I hope you enjoy it. Yep. All right. Got some weird people fighting on TikTok. Y'all are weird. I'm not weird. You're weird. I've been told I'm weird my whole ass life. I don't need you to tell me I'm weird, weirdo. You're on the internet telling people they're weird. What's weirder than that? Anywho, trying to be nice to each other. Oh, yeah, the Dark Funeral show. Man, I got to figure out where we're going to catch that tour. We were supposed to cover it in New York, and schedules did not align. I might catch it in 2 weeks here in the Bay Area. We shall see. Doing the thing, as always. So, announcements, it's announcements time. Let's do the thing. We had a bunch of losses this week in the music world and the entertainment world, and none bigger than, you don't want to compare one life to another, but in terms of rock history, Tina Turner was the queen of rock and roll, literally defied the odds, broke away from an abusive relationship, topped the charts in a group as well as a solo artist. I think she was the third or fourth biggest selling female artist of the 80s. I got to see her in concert in the early 90s. She passed away this week at her home in Switzerland at age 83. She lived a long life. Again, incredible person. Delve in, check out some of the music. It's not metal, it's not rock, it's not punk, but certainly an immense figure in the field of music. But we lost a bunch of people this week, so we're going to talk about them. People are filing in on the Insta. What's up? What's up? Thanks for being here. Kirk Arrington of Metal Church passed away, kind of young in his 50s. Incredible early thrash metal, heavy metal drummer. The band broke the news just as they're hitting a huge comeback story of their own this week with a new album. They had to mourn the loss of a former bandmate. Rough stuff all around. This is another one. Mark Adams, one of the co-founders of St. Vitus, passed away after an apparent bout with Parkinson's disease. We have some Parkinson's sufferers in the family of Ghost Cult and in our adjacent metal family, and so it's a brutal bout. It is a brutal battle, and Mark was incredible as a St. Vitus bassist and collaborator early on. So rest in power, Mark. This is another rough one. Just hard to put it into words. Andy from the Smiths, Andy Rourke, died this week. Smiths never got to reunite because Morrissey's a dick. I said it. I don't care. Kind of funny enough that I just came from the Goth Festival and you heard a lot of Smiths and Morrissey songs over the PA, but obviously not there. And this was actually him and Johnny Marr had reunited a few years back. The only classic Smiths reunion of sorts where members came together. So it was kind of a nice thing. He also died after a long illness, so very tough. This is another one. Algie Ward, the co-founder of Tank, the vocalist of the great British heavy metal and thrash band, one of the early British heavy metal bands, clearly, definitely on the cusp of new wave of British heavy metal and thrash, passed away 63 years old. Again, these are not old people. To me, that's still kind of young to be dying from an illness, but just rough all the way around. Maybe not as well known. This is Peter Brown. If you're watching the slideshow, Peter Brown was a legendary lyricist, and he was actually one of the exclusive lyricists of Cream and Jack Bruce's solo career, as well as his own musical career. So if you're a big fan of those Cream songs, I know Eric Clapton's another one. I like to tie to a rocket ship and fly into the sun, but Cream, music's, uneffwithable. And he wrote a lot of those fantasy lyrics that Jack Bruce leaned on for the Cream heyday. So if you like those tracks, good stuff there from Pete. Peter passed away after another long illness. Once again, there's a theme here, unfortunately. And just in the entertainment world, Ray Stevenson, you might know from more popular movies in the Marvel cinematic universe, like Thor. He was Volstagg, and he was on Rome on HBO. He was a great character actor. He did a whole season on Dexter as the bad guy in a season of Dexter. But to me personally, I loved him in Punisher Warzone, although not a perfect movie, much more true to the comic book, especially the Garth Ennis run of Punisher Warzone. Really violent and a great metal soundtrack. And Ray is a great, fabulous actor. He died. He's in the upcoming Ahsoka series. I think he's also in Clone Wars as a voice actor. Again, not an old person, relatively young on the scale of age. And so, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. We will miss you and your work. On to some other stuff. This is your last few days to enter our giveaway with Salt of the Earth Records. In a nutshell, Salt of the Earth sent us a big box of merch. and music and vinyl and CDs. They do a lot of stoner doom. They have a lot of modern metal. They have some killer bands, and they sent us an abundance of stuff. We could not keep it all. We're going to give it away. The Salt of the Earth portion of the giveaway is up to $75, $100. And then I was like, you know what? I have a trove of vinyl and shirts and merch and tapes and patches and pins. Let's double that amount and give away a grand prize of about $150 and some second and third prizes. Anywhere in the world where you are watching this, you can enter to win. Find the post. There'll be a link in the description after the show, but find the post on Instagram. That's where you enter. If you tag and share with your friends and you hashtag your favorite genre of rock or metal, that tells us what kind of fan you are. And if you tag your friends or share it on other socials, you get more entries. We're tabulating all this. So last few days to enter. Contest or giveaway ends June the 1st. So sign up now to win. And I look forward to awarding these prizes and sending them all over the world. I'm really stoked. Stoked is one of my favorite words, in case you didn't know. Once again, we are on Reddit. If you're sick of social media, and granted, you're probably watching this on social media right now, we are now on Reddit. You can just follow our Reddit thread and get news updates. We update it, like, I think, sporadically through the day, and then I pound them out at night or in the morning, whatever time. What is time? What is sleep? But we're on Reddit now, so if you want to escape social media, and you should have a plan to escape social media, we don't own these things, and you don't want to be owned by these things. So join us on Reddit and get a news feed of rock and metal news daily. I'm also trying to go live more on Twitch. That was derailed by my illness, but I think this weekend I'm going to do a stream and catch up on a few things. Maybe the streams, definitely do some reviews on the streams. Definitely going to bring back the 5-minute reviews. There's definitely some albums coming out in June I want to get ahead of and do a review on them. I've already heard, including Creeping Death, spoiler alert, and heard the new Creeping Death. It is badass, but I want to go in depth and share with you what I think about it. And then probably some other topical stuff. Maybe the Twitch streams will be the in-between on the week between this show, week to week. So maybe I'll do one on the weekend or on Monday or Tuesday, and then have this show Thursday, Friday. So going live on Twitch more. Follow us there if you're on Twitch. I'd like to be an affiliate someday. We have a lot of affiliate deals and partners. Time for some creature features. I just like this image. Doesn't really mean anything. I just like this comic book image because we like geek stuff. So here's some features you might have missed the last couple of weeks. Since we missed a show last week, I doubled these up. Just some stuff going on. These are mainly on our YouTube and our podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just search for Ghost Cult Magazine. We are Ghost Cult Mag on every other social, including YouTube. This is George Lynch. He has a brand new album out. George Lynch, the legend of shred guitar from hair metal band Dokken, his solo career, other bands, Lynch Mob, and his current project, his third album with Michael Sweet of Striper, Sweet and Lynch. They have a brand new album, Heart and Sacrifice, out now on Frontiers SRL. This interview is amazing. He gave a story about how he was passed over as the guitar player for Ozzy after Randy Rhoads died, and he got beat out for the job by Jake E. Lee. So you do not, if you love classic heavy metal and Ozzy and Randy Rhoads and Jake E. Lee and Zakk Wylde, you want to check this interview out. Also, we interviewed Taylor Waring of Merlock. Merlock is one of the cool stoner doom bands from Portland, Oregon. And this dude and I should have been best friends a long time ago. We chopped it up and had a good old time. So check out that interview. Merlock's Where Strides Colossus is their new album now. It's out now. So check that out if you love the doom metals. You know this guy if you follow Knotfest. This is Colin Young of the Hardlore podcast, also of God's Hate, Twitching Tongues, occasionally Dead Body. We hung out at a festival we were both working at, and I had like 10 minutes to kill, and he and I chopped it up and talked about his transition to podcast dude and working with Knotfest and bringing back new music. Twitching Tongues just announced they are coming back with some new stuff. Some reissues and new material. So definitely check out the pod. It's also a podcast and it's an interview on YouTube. So you can check it out. It's pretty short comparatively to our other stuff. So good times. That dude was hella nice to me and I really appreciated it. We also, Wesley Negrone of Ghost Cult interviewed Robin from the Ocean Collective, or The Ocean, sometimes it's called. Their new album is out now, Holocene, on Pelagic Records. And yeah, just amazing stuff. Good times with that interview. Wesley will pop up in another second on another interview for us this week. Also this week, OJ Cordy, our producer, interviewed Jamison from Arrival of Autumn. Their new album is out tomorrow, and it's a banger. They are, I believe, one of the first bands ever to graduate from Blood Blast Productions to the main label of Nuclear Blast. So they went from like the farm team AAA to the actual label, and I don't think that's happened much, if at all. So definitely check this interview out. He talked about their journey as a band. They don't have a local scene. They're from like northwest Canada, like Alberta, even, where the Yukon, I'm not sure. But he talked about how they made it, which is really interesting if you're in a band trying to make it. Whatever making it means these days. And this is Alexisonfire. We caught up with them also at a festival late last year, and we're just kind of rolling out the stream of these leftover interviews and punching them up sometimes. And we had a fun little short interview about porta potties and festival life, as we are officially into festival season for the summer. There's a whole bunch of them started this weekend. We're going to talk all about them. But George was hilarious and really cool. Their comeback album, Otherness, came out last year. You should check it out if you like the band, you like metalcore and rock. This is a band for you. Sort of late era emo. I'm not sure if that still applies, but I think it does. And this is Haken. Haken is currently on tour in North America. Once again, Wesley Negrone interviewed Charles from the band, Charles Griffith, the guitar player of Haken, for the Ghost Cult podcast. You can listen to that on the Ghost Cult podcast that ran today. You can check that out. Pretty cool. Once again, we interviewed Halloween. Halloween is on their current U.S. tour with Hammerfall, which is amazing. If you love power metal and heavy metal, this is an amazing pairing of bands. Honestly, I'm starting to get to the point, unless I'm at a festival, I don't really want these 7-8 band bills that start at like 5-6 p.m. on a Tuesday or a Wednesday are out to me. I'm getting too old for this shit. I want 3 bands, 4 bands, 2 bands on a regular show. If it's a festival, I do things and prep myself mentally and physically to cover these things and spend time there, hydrate and all that stuff. But like these concerts that are like on a weeknight with 6 bands that start at 5 p.m., gotta go. Hard to sustain. So again, make sure you check out the Ghost Cult Magazine podcast. If you're a podcast person, this show will be a podcast eventually. And, we put up 2 or 3 pods a week. So that's cool. We also support the Heavy Business podcast that is from C Squared Music Marketing. I am an upcoming guest on the show, but they also do stuff. And they do interviews with music industry people where they enlighten burgeoning bands just starting out, on how to go about their career and how to avoid mistakes. So it's really useful. We do a lot of stuff to try to support the DIY scenes. Elves and Knights asks, not a fan of the Static X last tour then, lol. I love that tour, and I went to that tour, and I would say that tour was very well done. Ironically, we covered the tour, and then I went actually to the first night of the tour just as a fan, specifically to see Fear Factory play their first show with the new singer. And that's when the snowstorm hit Southern California and they missed the show. But hopefully going to catch them the next time around. And, it depends. That show was very well done with high production, and the turnover of the bands was very quick. Even for the first night of the tour, there wasn't a lot of hiccups and waiting. So sometimes maybe it's not about how many bands it is, and it's about how smooth the production is. But that was a really great show, and I have to say, the current incarnation of Static X, fantastic job. I think Wayne would be proud, and I know, again, the family is behind it, so I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm looking forward to their next album. Was that Project Regeneration Part 2, which is the final recordings of Wayne Static and some new stuff. So Also, I'm the co-host because I don't have enough to do. I'm the co-host of the Glacially Musical podcast. We also missed the podcast week because I was ill. We're back this week with a new episode. Both Nick and I unbox, review, and dork out on the Ronnie James Dio live in Fresno vinyl that came out for Record Store Day, and we chop it up generally about that. That's going to run at midnight tonight. So you, by the time you're watching this, or if you're watching this on the rebroadcast, go check out the link in the description and check out the Glacially Musical podcast. And please give us a like and a subscribe. Many less followers than Ghost Cult, but I still back this. It's a really good time. We have a fun. We nerd out about craft beer and vinyl and music collecting and all kinds of stuff. It's fun. No gatekeeping, mostly, unless you like terrible music, in which case then we can't help you. Just one more time, I don't have it handy here, but I just want to highlight again. I talked about this during the edition of this show I did in Vegas. I picked up the brand new, should have had it with me handy to talk about, but I just want to glow up this DJI microphone system. If you do what I do and you create content and you do interviews all the time, you want to get yourself one of these awesome all-in-one DJI microphones. You can hot shoe mount it to your camera. You could put it on a drone, but basically you see a lot of people do their content creation with these microphones. I used them at Sick New World Fest. I interviewed POD. I interviewed Kitty. I interviewed Scooter from Cold. I interviewed Scowl, who were amazing, by the way, opening up the day. And these things were in intense heat situations and running all over the place. These things held up incredibly well. So I look forward to sharing all those podcasts with everybody over time. And again, this thing, you can get there's a link in our description of this video where you can get this exact one we got. And it's an affiliate link. So if you buy it from Amazon with our link, it kind of helps us out. So just trying to help do the things we do. And that's all the stuff that comes with it. Festival time to run through these festival announcements. There's a whole bunch this weekend, but there's a couple we're covering, so I'm really excited to talk about them. Sonic Temple is already underway in Columbus, Ohio, and our man Wayne Edwards is there, covering for Ghost Cult, Tool and Godsmack tonight, Avenged Sevenfold, Queens of the Stone Age tomorrow, Kiss and Rob Zombie on Saturday, Foo Fighters and Deftones on Sunday. Packed with value. Pretty much something for every kind of hard rock and metal fan. Danny Wimmer Presents always does a great job on the festivals, and we'll be bringing you our review of that very soon. We ran, by the way, a bunch of new festival reviews this week. Like I said, my Sick New World review is coming tomorrow, and we ran our coverage of Desert Fest this week, of Roadburn 2023, so some of European stuff, some American stuff. You get the flavor of music festivals from all over the world. Also covering this weekend, Milwaukee Metal Fest. Ragin' Rosie is there right now for the pre-party. But basically, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Biohazard, Anthrax, Lamb of God, Dark Angel, Napalm Death, Suicidal Tendencies, Machine Head, Dying Fetus, Corrosion Conformity, Shadows Fall, Black Dahlia Murder. Unbelievable lineup. Congrats to Jamie Josta for actually pulling this thing off and bringing it back to Milwaukee where it was founded. And they're already planning next year. I believe they're going to announce some bands for next year this weekend. So stay tuned to Ghost Cult and we'll share all that stuff. I'm going to take a little sip of seltzer and some nice icy cold seltzer. All right, moving right along. This one. Bottle Rock Napa's this weekend. Ocean Lord is here. What's up, Ocean Lord? Good record over there, Ocean Lord. Bottle Rock Napa is this weekend. I went to the last two, just couldn't pull it together to go this year. Chili Peppers, Post Malone, Lizzo, Duran, Lil Nas X, Smashing Pumpkins, Wu-Tang, Nile Rodgers, Fantagram. A pretty cool lineup, not that heavy, but a very high-end experience. I can't recommend going to Bottle Rock enough. It was wonderful if you need a very fancy Pinkies Out experience with fancy food, craft beer, and some good music, and a very low effort time compared to some of these other festivals that are just grueling. Also this weekend is the Northwest Terror Fest, and just like Milwaukee, I'm feeling some FOMO. Autopsy, Ghoul, and Yob, which we have some Yob news coming up soon. Cryptic Slaughter, Impale, Misery Index, Spell Witch, Conan, Horrendous, who just came back with a new song, Necrot. amazing lineup. And they do a great job every year, and I just have never seemed to make it there. I gotta really try. I need some of these festivals to not happen on the same weekend. And again, this is the weekend that normally Maryland Death Fest takes place, and it's not happening this year. So things have filled the void. Some other news: Download Festival, which is fast approaching, I think we mentioned in our last episode we aired, is the quickest selling festival in their entire 20-year history. And now they announced this really cool thing, which is the Download 20 auction, going to take place a couple of weeks after the festival, in alliance with the Heavy Metal Truants, which is an organization that raises money for charity in the UK. And they have merch from 20 years of headliners to auction off for charity. So stay tuned. We'll be listing and linking all that stuff. And if you love, Download and its predecessor, which was Castle Donington, Donington Festival, some of the greatest bands to ever do it. They have merch from all the headliners of 20 years of bands. That's insane to me that they did a thing like this. And it's all to raise money for needy kids. So we want that. Hell in the Harbor is this weekend, kind of taking the place of Maryland Death Fest at a much smaller scale. Candlemass, Warhorse, Cannibal Corpse, Dying Fetus, of course, High on Fire, Napalm Death. How is Fetus going to make it? They're going to fly across the country, do one show and then another. They're playing Milwaukee, so I guess they're going to drive to Baltimore. Pig Destroyer, Misery Index again, Goat Whore, Holder, Undeath, Internal Bleeding, my homies. Spectral Wound, Jesus Peace, Vomit Forth, Cloud Rat. Oh, Cloud Rat, that's great. It's a great lineup. We considered covering this and didn't ever hear back from Dead Guys on This Acid Witch. We never heard back. We wanted to cover this, so maybe next year, guys. I don't know. Riot Fest got announced for September. If you like your alternative rock and a little bit of metal and hardcore, we will be covering this again. Foo Fighters, Turnstile, Postal Service, Death Cab for Cutie, Queens of the Stone Age, The Cure, Mr. Bungle, Gaslight Anthem, AFI, Death Grips, The Used, Dresden Dolls, Say Anything, Breeders, L7, Viagra Boys, Sleep Token, the hottest band in the world right now, Frank Turner, Pennywise, Bayside, Ani DeFranco, Finch, Silverstein, Insane Clown Posse, Whoop Whoop, Code Orange, so many cool bands, Exploited. We'll be going there for that. I'm going to be going to Chicago for Riot Fest. I'm going to be in you, Chicago. All Chicago peeps and family, get at me. Also looking for a tattoo artist in Chicago since it's around my birthday. Ghost Canyon Fest. We got hit up about this. This looks really cool in Denver this summer in August. Big Brave, Rick McGuire, Pleasure Venom, Church Fire, so many cool bands, mostly Denver area bands. So very cool looking festival at the Skylark on the 11th of August and at High Dive on the 12th. Weekend passes are on sale now at ghostcanyonfest.com. Also later this year, the LA Gates of Metal Festival in the Los Angeles area is taking place in mid-October, and it features some absolutely killer bands. I am super stoked. I'm going to try to make it down for this. So I got to reach out to the organizers and see what's what. But lots of killer bands. Heathen, Hellfire, Haunt, Ruthless, Resistance, Anger is Art, Art of Shock, Bonded by Blood, Siglos, so many cool bands. I think Sadistic Intent is on this. Super good lineup. Super good. Almost done here with the festivals. Tennessee's Devastation, the Metal Devastation Fest is back. This is the festival last year that sparked the renewed satanic panic in Tennessee. Even though the organization that puts this festival on got all the permits and permissions from the town, and then the townspeople got mad. They took the money, and then they got mad they were putting this thing on. Of course, it went on without incident, other than some stupid protesters. And so Casket Robbery and Summoner Circle are once again returning to do the fest. Grave Huffer, Homies to Ghost Cult will be there also. Bunch of cool bands. Don't miss it. If you're down in the Tennessee area, Jackson, Tennessee, to be precise. Punk in the Park just got announced for early November. Pennywise, Descendants, hey, not on purpose, but just happen to be wearing my very comfy Descendants shirt. Circle Jerks, Goldfinger, Suicide Machines, Lawrence Arms, The Dwarves, Rotting Out, Wilhelm Scream, recently reunited from the Bay Area, The Queers, Deviates, We Are Union, Good Guys in Black, and probably some more bands. But that's a pretty cool lineup right there for Punk in the Park. Also, Shiprock got announced, and I'm trying to see if we have the lineup handy, but even if I don't, oh, here we go. I Prevail, Killswitch Engage, Beartooth, Highly Suspect, Code Orange, Bad Flower, Blackstone Cherry, Broken Love, who I'm a fan of, we interviewed before, Cassette, Catch Your Breath, Crowbot, Dayseeker, Dead Poet Society, Dorothy, one of the best singers currently out there, Eva Under Fire, also a fan from Ashes to New, and The Warning, and many others. And so, yeah, Brian Burkhauser of I Prevail said, Shiprocked is an institution, and they're right. It's a very crowded field with music cruises right now, with 70 tons of metal and monsters of rock crews, but this looks really good. This looks like a very cool thing, especially if you're into the metalcore and rock. So back to the deck, back to the lecture at hand, as Dr. Dre would say. I don't know if anybody, by the way, speaking to Dr. Dre, if anybody has watched the Dear Mama series on Hulu about the life and times of Tupac Shakur, rest in peace, and his mother, Afeni Shakur, rest in peace. But unbelievable. If you're a hip-hop aficionado of any stripe, Pac is one of the greatest to ever do it, and show is eye-opening documentary series of 5 episodes. You blast through it pretty quickly. It's directed by the Hughes brothers, who once worked with Tupac, so pretty great stuff. I'm a big fan. All right. Portola Festival, if you like electronic music and all kinds of weird, glitchy stuff, is announced. Happens every year in the fall here in San Francisco, and I'm just like shouting it out. Skrillex is one of the headliners. They have a bunch of killer bands, artists. It's not just people who press a space bar. It's actually, electronic music is an actually very tight-knit global community. I believe the Electric Daisy Festival is this weekend in Las Vegas. I didn't really mention that, but that's always a thing. It was last weekend and this weekend. So, yep, Portola Fest is back in the Bay at Pier 80 this fall, late September. And then if you like a little more chill singer-songwriter, Americana, Beach Life Ranch is the sequel to Beach Life Festival. It's usually like punk and rock. And Beach Life is more like country and Americana. Jack Johnson, Avett Brothers, who are amazing, Doobie Brothers, Cody Jinks, Winona Judd, Brad Paisley, Chris Isaac, Parmalee, Midland. So not too bad. Not too bad. I'd check it out if it was closer to me and not just in the LA area. So, yep, check it out. Nine Gates of Metal again. All right, that's all the festivals. There was a lot of them. Now it's going to go quick the rest of the way, I promise. Papa Smalls, I am alive, dude. I am alive. I got to talk to you if you're still watching on Twitch there, Papa. I got to talk to you this weekend if I get a chance, and if you're not too busy with the kiddo. Hey, Rebecca Page is here, Ghost Cultist. Good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, Smalls, we got to connect. I got a question for you. Concerts. Foo Fighters kicked off their tour this weekend in New Hampshire. And, of course, announced their new drummer as Josh Freese. Redbeard Wall is here. I have your new vinyl, or your last album on vinyl, from my latest Bandcamp Friday score. And I'm spinning that this weekend. I'm super stoked. But yeah, Foo Fighters kicked off their new tour with their new drummer, Josh Freese. They dropped the second single. Their new album comes out next week. Tough to grieve publicly any harder than these guys have had to. But we talked a lot about all the deaths in the music community at the top of the show. And, still a year after losing Taylor Hawkins and Trevor Stannard, it's just been brutal. Just brutal. This is why we drink. Danzig has announced perhaps his last headline tour ever. I'm not sure. He's still going to do Misfit shows. But, we've been hearing threats about Danzig retiring from touring for a long time. And he's intimating this is probably the last time he's going to do an extensive bunch of dates. Not that extensive. It's like 35 dates in a month and a half. And he is doing 35th anniversary of the debut Danzig album, which I believe came out in the fall of 88. I was in high school at the time. Supporting Danzig on the tour will be Behemoth, Twin Temple, who were amazing, and Midnight. So a very diverse lineup and a very cool lineup that's going to bring in different segments of fans. Twin Temple is blowing up after touring arenas with Ghost. Behemoth is Behemoth. They're going to do what they do all over the world. And Midnight, hashtag Midnight Violators, they are gnarly. Also announced a awesome hardcore tour, Gel, with Truth Cult, Spy, and the Hers Collective, and a couple of other bands. Summer tour kicking off in July. Definitely don't miss them. One of the best hardcore bands right now. Amon Amarth has just randomly announced a couple of headline dates. One in Nebraska with Creeping Death and 200 Stab Wounds, and one in California in early September with Gate Creeper. Be interesting to see how Amon Amarth continues to follow up their big successful albums, but just very interesting that they're doing these 2 one-offs. I think they have some metal festivals or something, but other than that, that's the deal. So maybe these are the proving grounds for some further announcements we're going to hear soon. Again, Scowl, who I just saw at Sick New World Fest, has announced a headline tour. Super stoked for them. Definitely show some love. One of the coolest bands, I believe, officially from San Jose, but different members are from Sacramento and the Bay Area, but San Jose hardcore. And they were unbelievable and great live. So I was really glad to see them. They were my first band of the day at Sick New World. So they were terrific. And I have an interview coming out with them, so I'm very excited about that. All right, Papa Smalls, I will hit you up. Steel Panther has announced a headline tour on the prowl. I think it's their 3rd leg of dates, supporting their last album, kicking off in early July in Long Island and ending up in the summer in Las Vegas. Perfect for them. The Stormmaster is here. Hello, Stormmaster. Hello, Redbeard Wall. Hello, Rebecca. Everybody go follow Gengar's _ there. That's our photographer, Rebecca Page, if you want to see killer metal concert photography that shows up at Ghost Cult sometimes. Chris Small, too, over here on Twitch. Follow that guy. Kansas, the great progressive rock band, one of the first bands I ever saw in a concert, has announced their 50th anniversary tour. It's very extensive compared to Danzig's little bit of dates. And Kansas, these guys are like 15 years older than Danzig, 10, 15 years older than him, and they're doing like triple the dates, but they're warriors. They've been doing this a long time. Nothing scares them. Good stuff. I'm pumped. I'd like to try to catch that tour, but it's actually not coming near me when I'm around. It's coming all over the country, but I'm going to have some travel this summer, and I think I'm going to miss the tour. Shitty. Rammstein has just kicked off their new European Stadium tour in Lithuania. They played 2 songs from Zeit, their most recent album. Till fell off the stage, but Rammstein, the big touring machine, is back again. They are also always hinting at the end of touring, and I hope it's not true, but my homies are going in Berlin this weekend or next weekend, and I hope they have a fabulous time. Ice Nine Kills has announced their big European summer vacation tour with a bunch of killer bands. They are doing a pop-up shop in London next week as they kick the tour off, and then they come back to America after that tour, and I believe they are doing some opening dates for Metallica, or maybe that's in 2024. But still, impressive. Most impressive for Ice Nine Kills. Those guys continue to blow up. Fear Factory has just announced that they are doing a headline tour of Europe in the fall with Butcher Babies and Ignia, who just put out a record. And some interesting, the interesting news with Fear Factory is they have announced that Havoc's Pete Weber is their new official drummer because Mike Heller has been too busy. He's just too in demand. He's been kind of off the books and unable to tour with Fear Factory. And I guess that Weber's worked out, and now he's the official new drummer. If you watch YouTube videos of them on tour, he absolutely crushed it. And I'm hoping after this fall tour in Europe, Fear Factory comes back to America and does another go-round, since I missed them. Steve Von Till of the now defunct band Neurosis is doing a solo tour this summer. He's going to hit a few UK shows. Not sure if he's added any others, but these were the ones we were notified of. Bristol, London, and Birmingham. Perhaps Ghost Cult will cover one of those since we have people in most of those cities or within reach. Extreme and Living Colour are teaming up for a tour on both sides of the Atlantic, but they announced a European tour, UK and Europe. It's always so weird for me to, anybody here from Europe or UK, help me with this. Like, Brexit, I don't understand why this happened. But Extreme has a new record out. They put a new song out recently that was a banger, and this is I think they have the same management as Living Colour. Living Colour is threatening a new album, which you should definitely pay attention to. And of course, I'm going to share some love for Corey Glover's other band, Disciples of Verity, which is a metal supergroup of sorts that is amazing. And they have a new record coming soon, too. So stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about it here, without a doubt. And then in some cancellation news, I don't know if you've been following this story. Exodus guitarist Gary Holt's brother was in a terrible accident while on vacation in Italy, where he was like hit by a bus and needs extensive health care and surgeries and stuff. And they raised a lot of money with a GoFundMe, but Gary needs to personally go over there and oversee the care of his brother. And so Exodus canceled their summer tour. It's a bummer. But yeah, hopefully they'll rebook when it's all, solved and sorted. Get well soon to Gary's fam. And that's it for the tours and festivals. And now it's on to the news, and then it's all downhill from here. We go a quick descent through the rest of the show. Let's do this thing. I'll take another sip. Whenever you see this meme, it's time for the news. Alrighty then. Red alert, y'all. In a story, Ghost Cult broke, and a bunch of websites literally copied our text, and put it in their story. Shadows Fall is working on new music. They are playing the aforementioned Milwaukee Metal Fest this weekend. They have some other shows coming up this year. And this is Brian Fair, and he did the Josta Show podcast, and he talked about how the band has started to write the skeletons of new music. And it might lead to something. They don't have a record deal right now, so there's no immediate announcement about a label or an album or an EP. But why not? They could do singles. They could do just a one-off. They could do a 7-inch. They could do anything. They're free agents, and it's very exciting to me, the notion that Shadows Fall might make some new music, especially if you were from a certain age 20 years ago when the new wave of American heavy metal was a big thing. It was pretty incredible. All right. Just making sure. I feel like a sneeze is coming on, so I grabbed a tissue, but so far nothing. All right. Here is an AI version of Peter Steele of Typo Negative. Typo Negative put out a new music video for World Goth Day. It's very cool to still see some new Typo Negative stuff happening. There's a new version of the vinyl version of Dead Again coming out this summer. I think last year they put out a 3 vinyl version and it sold out immediately. And you can still get the 2 vinyl version right now from Nuclear Blast, who has the rights to that record. Jason Newkid, once again on your screen. Jason Newsted last week, when we didn't have a show, played his first show in 10 years with his Newsted metal band. And they opened the show with like 8 brand new songs. And I know he said like, oh, this is a one-time thing. I'm not sure yet if I want to come back and do more. But I don't think you write 8 brand new banger songs and you go to YouTube and watch this performance where he just kills it on this new stuff and not do anything with it. So hopefully that really means he's got an EP or an album ready to go, and hopefully he's going to book a tour. Like I said this in a different podcast. I cannot imagine that a major label or a major metal label would not sign Jason Newsted as a profitable person to market as formerly of the juggernaut that is Metallica. And his stuff's great. And his new band, new old band, he's got basically 2 guys he played with 10 years ago and a new lead guitarist. Fantastic stuff. And he grew his hair out and he raged. And it looked like a great show down in Florida. So he's got a new album coming out with his Chop House band. It's like alternative rock and hopefully something new. Again, you don't make 8 new songs to not. I just can't even imagine that he would just shelve it again. So Come back, Jason. We want you. We want you back, bro. We want you back. Here's John 5. John 5 got his own limited edition commemorative Fender Telecaster from Fender this week. It is limited, but it is the John 5 model to his specs. John 5 has a legion of fans of his guitar playing. He is now the guitarist of Motley Crue. Sounds like the door is not closed on him coming back to Rob Zombie, but he hasn't talked to Rob Zombie since he left to do Crue. So not that great, but all right. Machine Head dropped a new video on the eve of the Milwaukee Metal Fest, and I had a funny exchange on Twitter about the zeros as O's in the Machine Head album, but that was the Ghost Cult Album of the Year as voted on by the staff of Ghost Cult in 2022, and they are going to do some rare festivals in America and Europe, and then hopefully announce another U.S. tour since they canceled their tour that was supposed to happen. Here's Maynard James Keenan. This is last weekend at Welcome to Rockville. And he came out in drag. This is a thing he did very early in his career in Tool. And, you know, Florida notoriously is a very anti-trans, anti-gay place. And the governor who thinks he's going to be president, I doubt it highly. He seems like a herb who doesn't have any standing in this country nationally. Immediately all the metal websites were like, Maynard is making a statement about the anti-gay laws. And actually he countered and said he wasn't, but he did think the laws were ridiculous. He's just bringing back a vibe on these Tool shows. It seems like some of these Tool festival shows, and Tool is apparently going to announce a big fall tour. But yeah, you know, they are technically 30 years of sober and Undertow this year. And that anniversary passed already. Lamb Goat is here. What's up, Lamb Goat? I was just lamenting about my Shadows Fall story, and I won't name the names of the websites that literally copied my text on my. I was up late. I listened and watched the whole Josta show, and all these websites failed to credit Ghost Cult. It's kind of weird. I'm not saying we invented the news story, but we certainly had it before everybody else, which is wild to me that people take our photos, take our stories, copy them word for word. I transcribe the quote from the thing, and it never gets credited back to us. It's wild. It's very disappointing. But anyway, here's Maynard. He wasn't making a political statement. He just likes to perform in drag, but he also thinks Florida's stupid. So there you go. That's a blank screen. I don't know why. Here's Corey Taylor. Finally put out his new single, Beyond. We are going to get that CMFT2 album soon. And again, still waiting to see if we're going to get a surprise Slipknot album. They do have an album completed. They haven't put out. And no news on Stone Sour. So it's the Corey solo world for now, in between Slipknot festivals and headline shows in Europe. Europe. Some minor Metallica news this week as they continue the M72 World Tour. They just put out a new live video today from Paris of them playing I Disappear, the infamous Napster song, the song that launched all the drama with Napster. Turns out Lars was right. But good stuff on Metallica, touring the world, doing a lot of fun stuff. The month of giving is almost over. You can win all kinds of cool stuff if you just make a donation to their All Within My Hands Foundation. Lots of fun Metallica things there. I think there's also the guitar contest where if you buy a pack of Ernie Ball strings at Guitar Center and you enter your unique code at Metallica.com, you enter to win like a flyaway trip anywhere in the world to see them. It's kind of crazy. Plus autographed guitar from Kirk, all kinds of stuff. So good times in the Metallica world. So Tool, Slipknot, Metallica covered the big three. Here's Voice of Bracepot in an interesting image. There's really only like 3 of them, but this is an interesting image from their new music video. They put out a new single and a video today. The Enemy of the World Is You. Killer band from Indonesia, where it is, I think, punishable by death to play metal, if I'm not mistaken, in a very constrictive society. So props to these young ladies for doing what they do. Here is the Dead Daisies welcoming back in center John Corabi, vocalist best known as formerly of Motley Crue and Scream. but he is back in the Dead Daisies. They have a best of album coming out. They announced a huge world tour for later in the year. And John has a book coming out next month, and he is constantly shitting on Motley Crue, a band he hasn't been in 28 years. So, okay. This is a bit of a surprise this week. This is Yob, and they parted ways with their drummer of 2 decades. Usually don't see. Usually, if you make it a few decades in a band, you don't end up quitting. But this is what happened with Yob this week. Is that their drummer Travis Foster, who had been in the band a very long time. He hadn't really toured with them in a couple of years. This photo, by the way, is by the fantastic and wonderful Hillary Jason, who was a longtime photographer here at Ghost Cult. And you have seen her work in Decibel and Maryland Death Fest socials and website. So she shot this, I think, at Psycho Las Vegas a few years ago at the pool stage at Mandalay Bay. And yeah, man, so it's a bummer. It's a bummer that he's not in the band. Yob is playing this weekend at Northwest Terror Fest. Not sure who's going to continue to fill in for them or if they're going to announce a new permanent drummer. A lot of drummers moving around. But, interesting nonetheless. We're almost done here, folks. We're almost at the end. Here is Crosses. Crosses dropped a new remix from their album earlier this year, Day One, the Machine Drum Remix. I don't know if you did Machine Drum Remix. If you like electronic music, Machine Drum is a remixer, a DJ, an artist in their own right. And so they remixed this cool Crosses song. Apparently going to get more Crosses. Another Crosses album is already underway. So I think we're going to get more activity from these Chino side projects. Again, we were teased the Palms reunion that might just be a couple of leftover tracks, but an anniversary vinyl. But I would love to see Palms actually make a legit comeback. I'm so sniffly. Here's Marilyn Manson for some reason, and apparently he's teasing new music. There's been some legal wins and losses for him lately in his ongoing investigation by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department for the many claims of sexual assault and misconduct against Manson. But he is teasing that he's going to release some new music soon, probably in June. So we'll stand by and let you know when we hear something. Then on to some fun stuff, because that was heavy. Super 7 does it again, man. I love Super 7. One of their stores is right in my neighborhood here in the Bay Area in the Mission District. And they are putting out Ronnie James Dio reaction figures, one of Dio, and this is clearly like the Holy Diver Dio with the chainmail and the shirt, and Murray, the mascot, the whipping mascot from the Holy Diver album cover. And again, things are just coming up Dio. I mentioned earlier the Glacially Musical podcast where we reviewed the live Dio album. So these are on sale now at the Super 7 store or online. Check them out. And then here's me waiting. It's time for the end of the show, which we always do is the mailbag. So I'm going to ditch my keyboard here. And, every week we unbox something cool and we share something I've been sent or some music I've been digging or toy I've gotten. So I'm pretty stoked. I don't remember what this is. I got this box of stuff from Nuclear Blast that I probably bought from a holiday sale, and I'm going to say it was either in the spring, late winter, early spring. And I honestly, for the life of me, don't remember what I bought. So I'm going to cut the box open, and I'm going to share it with you guys now. So let's see what's in the box. What's in the box? I just told you. That's a reference from 7. Sorry if this is a little noisy. I'm going to try to not cover myself too much, but a lot of packaging here. I literally don't remember what I bought. So let's see what this is. Oh, we got something. And a packing slip. The packing slip will be useful. All right. Sorry, everybody. Not going to work, actually. I'm going to put this back over here and just open it a piece at a time. All right. Sorry to be hacking up a lung, everybody. I made it this long, 55 minutes. All right. Oh, cool. I know what this is now. Oh, this is very cool. I forgot I bought this. This was on sale, and I got this. Very cool. All right. So, first things first, this is a very cool box set Nuclear Blast was doing for their anniversary. Oh, look at this. This is a 7-inch series of singles gathered at the altar of Blast. Municipal Waste, Exodus, Immolation, Possessed, Cataclysm, and Corrosion of Conformity. Wow, this is baller. I completely spaced that I got this thing. Let me find an implement to open it with, and we're gonna look at this whole thing. And then, spoiler alert, I think there's a vinyl in the box also that I bought. I should have cut this open beforehand. All right, here we go. Luckily, you're not looking down at my hands to see what horribleness I just did. Look at this thing. This is like the classic, Nuclear Blast just changed their logo, which is the next slide, right? They have the logo that it took some heat for that kind of looks a lot like the Liquid Death Mountain Springwater logo. Look at this gorgeous slipcase, right? With the see-through embossing here. And this has got like a texture to it. This, despite the windows, it's got a texture. I dig it. So this is a series of 7 inches that they put out to commemorate the history of the label and all eras of the label. So longest serving bands as well as some of the other ones. Very cool. You almost see like the classic green fallout warning. And these are, oh wow, gorgeously packaged. Check this out. So we have a series of 7 inches in see-through. All of them are very well designed. I don't think you're going to necessarily pick up on these clearly on camera. Here is a gorgeous book. Oh, it's a poster. I'll try to unfurl the poster and do it some justice here. Oh, look at this. This is wild. I don't know if you can see this. I'll hold it up this way first. And then this way. Wow. That's just some crazy detail there. And then in addition to the poster and the vinyl, there is a patch, there is a pin, and there is a cassette. I think this thing was marked down to like 50% off, and I could not resist at that point to buy a thing for myself. So very cool. And now let's see what's in the rest of the box. This is cool. This is cool. I'm going to listen to these and then proudly display these somewhere. Maybe here in the headquarters home office. Let's see what's else. What else is in the box? Looks like some posters. They might have just thrown these in for free. Oh, let's see. Children of Bodom Hexed. Very nice. Rip Alexi. And also My Dying Bride, Ghosts of Orion, killer band, My Dying Bride. Can't really show those off on camera properly. And then let's see, here is the vinyl also packaged in the same package. And very nicely sturdy. A lot of bubble wrap. This came from across the sea. So I'm glad that they took a lot of care to send this to me with some love. Because it matters. I like these vinyl wedges. Smalls has, I don't know if you're still here, Smalls. Smalls has a new series about vinyl that he's collecting, and I think he would appreciate the care that was taken with this. Yeah, this was on sale also. This is that was like some Eminem special effects Iris, and their recent release Order of the Mind. So this is one of the more killer death metal bands and death metal album releases of early 2023, and I was like, it was orange and black swirl vinyl, limited to 1,500 copies. So that is killer. Should I unbox the vinyl? It's running on an hour of the show, but I think I'm going to just get the vinyl open and take a look at it. I normally don't have such a big thing to do with the mailbag segment, but like I was like, we missed the show, and I was like, let me unbox this thing. I haven't opened it. It's been sitting here for a little while. I went away to Vegas. I came back. I was like, let me do this week. So this is going to go right in the Mylar, both the inner sleeve and the outer sleeve. I highly recommend putting your vinyls in Mylar. For those who don't actually ever play their vinyl, unless you're looking to flip them, which I'm not a fan of, but unless you're looking to sell these things, take them out of the original plastic they're in, or at least cut them open, because they eventually warp your records, because plastic shrinks over time. So again, here's this gorgeous album cover. Look at the detail. Beautifully designed. And then here's the record. It's got the paper sleeve with the Mylar in it. Nice. Even though I have my own Mylar sleeves, here's a little lyric sheet with some credits for the album. I'm going to put that down. And then let's take a look at this Halloween swirl here. So here's the Mylar and the paper, but typically I just put them in the regular Mylar. And here's the orange and black swirly. God, this is gorgeous. I'm glad that I did the entire unboxing with my screen minimized. But here we go. Again, here's the full vinyl. And then again, I'll just bring the set back for one more second and share with you. Bring the set back one more time on the full screen and I do that, don't I? Like, I do that actually. I end up unboxing the thing and I don't remember to embiggen myself like Ant-Man. So here's these collector singles. Each is a single, 6 songs representing Nuclear Blast's entire history. It also came with, and they're all like, I don't usually love the picture disc because I think the sound quality is not as good as a regular vinyl, but like really beautifully done. The same artwork as the cover poster. Here is a very cool Gathered at the Altar of Blast patch to commemorate their history. Here's the pin also with the same artwork, and all 6 of these songs on cassette, 3 songs on each side. So that is the box set. That is what I bought from Nuclear Blast. That's what is in my mailbag this week. And that, as we say, is that is our show. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's good to be back. I'm really glad to be back. And again, here's the box set. Beautifully done. Gathered at the Altar of Blast. I'll just leave this right there. And yeah, it's been a minute. I hope I'm feeling at least exponentially better this time next week. It's a holiday weekend, everybody in America. Please get out there if you're going to celebrate with family and friends. Please be safe. Don't drink and drive. That's not very metal of me to say, but what's metal of me is to say I want you to all come back next week to watch the show and be okay, and make better choices with your lives. As we say every week at this juncture of the show, it's a tough time in the world, so please take care of yourselves. I just told you to, but I'm going to tell you again. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and stay as metal as humanly possible. I'm Keefe from Ghost Cult, and I'm out. See you next time. Cue the outro.